to step into your creations, to step into your uniqueness, to step into your colors. That is how we really attract what we deeply, truly desire. Hello, and welcome to Remember Why You're Here, a podcast for seekers and sensitives where you can relax, receive, reconnect to yourself, and remember the most important thing, why you're here. My name is Asia Suler, Earth Intuitive, author, teacher, and this is your intuitive reading for March. So I was really excited about the idea with this new podcast of doing a monthly intuitive reading. I've been doing yearly intuitive readings for a long time, and this just seemed like such a great opportunity to step into this format of doing a monthly reading. So these monthly readings are going to at least start out with being a card pull. So I love the idea of pulling a card for us collectively for the month ahead so we can tune into what to expect and how to meet this month. So I asked that this card come through for all of us that are gathered here in this realm together, in this circle here together. And I'm excited for what came up for this March because it felt very accurate for me, really helpful and supportive. And I have a feeling it might feel that way for you too. So I pulled this card from the Herbcrafters Tarot by Letitia Guthrie with artwork from Joanna Powell Colbert. And I was excited about doing this first pull from a deck with plants because that's been so much of my life work up until this point, working with the plants. So I wanted a plant ally to come through for us this month, and one did. So our card for the month of March 2025 is Bee Balm, which in this deck is called the Two of Fire, which is sort of how this deck conceives of the Wands suit in tarot. So Two of Fire, Bee Balm. So in this deck, which I love, this fire suit is all about action and play. It's almost like you've gathered all the herbs from the earth and now it's time to make your potion. It's like bringing in that fire element, bringing in that sort of playful action. Like it's time to make some moves. And that's so much of what this card is about. So if you're not familiar with bee balm, this plant is also called monarda or wild bergamot. It's sort of this wild-haired wildflower that blooms like when you're sort of entering into the heat of summer. So it will be one of those herbs that you first see in its just green state, vegetative state coming up pretty early in spring. And then around here, it's like by late June, early July, we're in full bloom with our bee balm, and there's different varieties of it. So you might have like a lilac one, you might have a deep fuchsia one, spotted ones. So there's many different varieties, species of monarda. But I love bee balm as sort of this energizing, spicy, uplifting medicine. It is one of my favorite medicines to use as a steam herb if I'm dealing with any kind of lung gunk. I've actually had the experience sometimes of adding too much bee balm to steam and having it be even too spicy for me to use. It's like that pungent and that aromatic, and it's just so enlivening to breathe in. It's a really important cold and flu herb. It can also be used as a antimicrobial, both as like a wash on the body, but also internally, like if you've eaten something really off, then bee balm tea can be really helpful for that. It's called bee balm because bees love this flower, so do butterflies, so do hummingbirds. So in my garden in the summertime, this flower is just this like beacon, this mecca, this gathering place for all of these incredible pollinators. Like almost looks like it's like bedecked with butterflies, especially here, but also the bees and also the hummingbirds who come to visit. So it's really a beautiful plant to just be around, to witness. It's also one of my favorite plants to make pesto with. Very, very early in the spring, before it flowers and gets too spicy, you can actually clip some of the leaves and grind them up. I like to use garlic powder and curry and make like this really almost like oregano tasting pesto. It's so good. It's my favorite actually of like all the pestos that one could make. Bee balm pesto is my absolute favorite. So for me, this plant also has this deep association with like even though it has this bloom of summertime, like that's really when it's in its full flower, it has this initiatory aspect to it of like, oh, the first thought of spring is here. We're really getting underway in this new season and this new growing season. And like I'm able to now eat the first greens from the garden. I'm able to sort of see the potential and the brightness of what is to come. And that's so much about what this card really stands for. So the image on this card is of these potted Monarda or bee balm plants that have been started by seed that are getting ready to be transplanted into bigger pots. Like they're getting ready for this next step in their evolution and creation. And in the guide that comes along with this deck, Letitia Guthrie talks about this idea that now is the time for you to step with courage into your next creative leap. That there's this aspect here of, yeah, trusting the playfulness of following your desires, of moving into what comes next, of taking that next step. There's also this piece of this idea that we attract what we desire when we're bold, like when we're fully authentically ourselves. And I just have this vision of the bee balm in my garden, like vibrating with butterflies. And there's an invitation here, right? To step into your creations, to step into your uniqueness, to step into your colors, your bold colors, and that is how we really attract what we deeply, truly desire. With this card, what really felt prominent for me and for us moving into this month is this invitation to take the next leap. I have found for myself, and I think this has been the case for a lot of us, that the winter so far has been sort of this pattern of moving forward, but not completely, still having a lot of plans on the back burner, creations on the back burner. And astrologically speaking, we've been in this time of Mars retrograde. Mars has been retrograde since the beginning of December. So we're just coming out of this big retrograde in Cancer, which is not Mars's favorite sign. And so it's almost like this collective wide release of like, oh, okay, if we can start moving forward again. But it's not going to be this movement forward where we are leaping right away into the next big thing. It's more like transplanting our starts from their small pots to the bigger pots. And it's like, we can take that step now. We've been waiting for this. We've been doing all kinds of deep internal emotional work. And now with this coming month of March, it's like we can take that next step of actually transplanting what we've been nurturing, the seeds we've been nurturing into the next bigger pot. And in the traditional tarot deck, right, this is the corollary in a traditional tarot deck would be the Two of Wands. And the Two of Wands card is all about expanding your horizons so you can meet the potential of what's to come. It's like the Ace of Wands sparks the idea, and the Two of Wands is you starting to make plans, you starting to make long-term plans and strategies and do this internal work of actually opening up to the incredible possibilities that are awaiting you with this new start, this new seed that you've planted that has now bloomed and is now ready to be transplanted to take into the next step. There's really this piece here at this month of, will you stay with the thing, the pattern, the program that is familiar, or will you take the risk to try something new, to step into this new iteration? And like I was saying earlier, it doesn't feel like there's this requirement that we leap off the edge of anything. It's more like, will you take that next step, even if it's little, but will you take that next step even though it does feel a little bit scary. Like this next step, although it might be small, has a bit of like tingly tension, sort of excitement to it, but trepidation, right? Because it's new. Whatever it is that you have been sort of dreaming into, holding on to, nurturing behind the scenes, it's almost like March is this time to take that step in either putting it out there or really coming up with a plan this month for like how you're going to step into bringing your passions, bringing your creativity to life. That your passions, your creativity, your projects like want your commitment in this way. So this feels very much like a commitment month in this way in which I think things come April are going to start moving a lot more, a lot faster. I mean, even astrologically speaking, Mars is going to go into Leo. That's like a lot more fire behind the things that we're doing. And so it's almost like, let's take this time in March. It's exactly what's happening for us here in our gardens of like, okay, we have the seeds, we're starting the seeds, and we're planning the garden for the year ahead. So whether or not you have a physical garden, it's almost like this is the invitation now. It's like plan for your creations in the year ahead. Give yourself permission to take that next step, even if it feels like a little bit scary, and to really reconnect to your passion and your vibrance. And there's almost this sense like you will have the ability to do that. Like it's okay if the past few months you're like, I don't even know where my passion and vibrance have been. Like, don't know her. This month, it's like, okay, I'm reconnecting to my passion and my vibrance again. I can feel it. I can feel it enough that I can start to envision, I can start to take these next steps because it's almost the sense of this new creation has really been waiting to come through you and waiting in part for you to have this kind of confidence and self-belief to start making that plan, to take that first next step. And because we got this plant that blooms sort of in high summertime, I'm really getting this feeling like whatever you are setting in motion this month, thinking about, launching, planning, strategizing for, that there's some sort of element of it actually being something that will come to fruition in one shape, way, or form this summer. That the turnaround for this isn't actually as long as maybe some other projects might be. And it might not be that, you exactly come into the pinnacle of it this summer, but that there's almost a sense of speed with it. Like now that you're getting going, there will be a speed and there's going to be something like around the summer solstice, maybe a little bit after, where it's like, okay, this is now like I'm seeing way further ahead now for having taken this step now. So this card is making me excited about March. It's making me feel like things are going to happen, things are going to move, that we're going to be supported in moving stagnation, some of the stagnation we've been sitting with. A lot of different species of Monarda have been used ceremonially, including in sweat lodges here in Turtle Island. So there really is this sense with this plant of like moving the spirit, moving inspiration, like when we've been in a stagnant place of getting that flow happening again. And I think we all really deeply need this right now. We need to feel the flow once more. And so I'm excited for March. It's almost like, yeah, the stream is starting to run again, or like a vernal spring is starting to run once more, and a lot more is becoming possible because of it. So thank you so much for tuning into this reading for this upcoming month of March 2025. If you are liking this podcast so far, wherever you listen to podcasts, if you could give it a rating or a review, it would just be so delightful for me to read that and to connect with you in that way. It really just means so much and is like giving this this new venture so much support, like so much wind beneath its wings. So thank you for that. And really exciting new thing on our website. So if you go to asiasuler.com/remember, I now have a voicemail service. I'm super excited about this. So I have an answering machine on the website where you can leave me a voice message. I'm super excited about where we're going to go with this. You can leave me a message about anything, a thought you had about an episode, a suggestion for a topic, any kind of feedback. And we're going to use the messages that we are getting through this to inspire new content for new episodes, to possibly have some more conversational aspects, maybe even expand on a topic if people ask us to do more on that topic or they have follow-up questions. So if you want to leave me a voice note, then head over to asiasuler.com/remember, and I would love to hear from you there. So thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time on Remember Why You're Here.